Okay, with Democrats trying to run the table to take back the House and the Senate, there is growing anxiety among many in the party over what is going on in Montana, their U.S. Senate race. The party's official nominee, Alani Bankhead, she has been pressured to leave the race, but she said no way. Some Democrats believe independent candidate Seth Bodnar may have a better shot of winning that Senate seat, and they want to see his name on the ballot instead of hers. Joining me now is Seth Bodnar himself, the independent candidate for U.S. Senate in Montana. And we just want to note we have also invited Alani Bankhead and Republican candidate Kurt Alme to join us. They have not yet said yes. Okay, Seth, this thing is now a four-way race. What is your reaction to Bankhead staying in? I'm guessing you're not happy.
No, actually, I never once asked for Alani Bankhead to drop out. I didn't ask for Kurt Alme to drop out. We've always been planning that this would be a four-way race, and we're building a coalition. It's always been the plan to serve the broad swath of Montanans. Frankly, the largest voting bloc in Montana right now is independent, and this has always been about building a coalition of independents, but also Democrats, Republicans, and we feel really good about our path to
Seth,
victory.
I'm going to interrupt you. Like, you wouldn't prefer it if she dropped out? Like, I get it. You're building a coalition. This is your grand plan. But, like, you need to win a race. It wouldn't be better for you if she wasn't in it? Like, let's have an honest conversation.
You know, look, I don't know that it would. A lot of the political pundits think that, and I hear it, right? And they, okay, one-on-one, that's easier on the one hand. On the other hand, people are fed up with a system that they feel like is rigged against them. You just had a segment on the national debt, $40 trillion. So hard to contextualize. Well, a number that's a little bit easier to understand is $119,000, because that's the amount of debt that a newborn inherits as a result of the reckless spending happening in D.C. today. Both parties are to blame for that. You said it. Neither one seems to be addressing it. Montanans, frankly, are fed up with a system that's not working for them, and having an independent that's running with both a Republican and a Democrat and a Libertarian gives them an option for the type of change that people are hungry for right now in this country.
Your Republican opponent paints you as a Democrat. Do you take that as a positive or a negative?
Well, he can paint me as whatever he wants. I'm an independent. I'm running to represent Montanans. He got into this race through an insider backroom deal facilitated by MAGA insiders. I mean, he basically rigged a Republican primary to disenfranchise Montana voters. That didn't work in the days of the Copper Kings in Montana. It's not going to work now. Montanans are hungry for honest leadership that's going to fight for them and not answer to DC insiders and party bosses like Kurt Alme is going to if he's in the U.S. Senate. People see through that nonsense.
So you don't think voters pay attention to party labels, whether it's Democrat, Socialist, Independent? You think voters are strictly focused on the candidate and what that candidate is offering? And how does that impact you in terms of fundraising?
So I think they're paying attention to people who are going to stand up and fight for them. I'll tell you, I've heard from so many Republicans over the course of this campaign. One gentleman said these exact words to me. He said, "I hate my party right now. I hate it. It's failing us. But I hate the other party a little bit more. And I'm glad you're giving us an option." And, you ask about fundraising. We've outraised the Republican in this race as of the last FEC deadline, 2-1. We've outraised the Democrat about 60-1. We have more individual donors from Montana, about 4 times as many as the Republican. We have over 4,000 Montanans who've contributed, almost over 1,900 volunteers. Almost 30,000 people who signed a petition to get us on the ballot. We're building a movement here, and people across the political spectrum are being a part of it. I had a Republican legislator in Montana just yesterday send me the endorsement that he sent out to all of his constituents about our campaign. So we feel good about the path we're building.
If you win, would you caucus with Democrats in the Senate?
No, my plan is to not caucus with either party. It's to work with other independent-minded senators to form a common sense bloc to move us forward. People are hungry for forward progress. They're tired of politicians who go to D.C., put a jersey on, and fight for a team. The Republicans or the Democrats. They want people who are gonna work for them. And so, no, I don't intend to caucus with either party. I intend to work with both parties to move things forward, to start addressing some of the challenges we're facing. Like there's one example of the failure of Congress right now. We just had a segment about, the president pushing for a bill focused on crypto. How about the farm bill? Farm bankruptcies last year were up 46% in this country. Farmers are in crisis here in Montana and across the United States. We haven't passed a farm bill since 2018. Can we get that moving forward? Can we focus on supporting the 2% of Americans who feed the rest of us? Those are the types of things we need to get done in this country. And we're just seeing stalled progress on so many things that Montanans and Americans are counting on Congress to do.
Why do farmers keep voting for Donald Trump if his policies, specifically tariffs, keep directly hurting them, or even the DOGE cuts? When you think about what they did to farmers, why do so many farmers still stand with him?
Look, I don't know that they are. The farmers I'm talking to, they feel really frustrated. I was with a farmer last week who said, I'm spending. She's in harvest. She said I'm burning about 300 gallons of diesel per day during harvest time. You look at diesel at $5 a gallon versus $3 a gallon. You can do that quick math. That's $600 a day out of her pocket. And it's not just related to farm issues. It's rural hospitals. These cuts to Medicaid in this big, beautiful bill, we gave $1 trillion of tax cuts to the wealthy in this country. While we made changes to Medicaid, going to cause 30,000 Montanans to lose access to their health care. It's going to put rural hospitals into crisis. You can't farm and you can't live in a rural community if you don't have a hospital, if you don't have schools. They're seeing that rural America is not being served, and they're hungry for change. And we're going to get a lot of those votes in our column this November.
Well, good luck to you, Seth Bodnar. Thanks for joining me this morning.